Yeah, it's your boy Dashiki Dash, and welcome back to another episode of Do You Still Watch Wrestling? And I mean that, welcome back, because it's been a while. And man, I'll put my hands up and let you know from the jump, from the get go, I've not been watching wrestling for a while now. It's been a while, and it's like any other TV show, in it. Like when it comes to wrestling, let's be honest, like an episodic TV show. If the storylines are not gripping you, if it's not capturing you, you're gonna fall out of love with it, and then you miss one show, then you miss the other, and all of a sudden you ain't watching. But the reason why I've jumped back into this is because we're on the road to WrestleMania. We're probably about a week out or so. Yeah, road to WrestleMania. This is the granddaddy of them all. This is the big show. Yeah, this is bigger than your Raws, your Smackdowns, let alone the other, pillars, which will be SummerSlam, Royal Rumbles, your Survivor Series. This is the granddaddy of them all. It's bigger, it's grander, brighter. There's more fireworks. The music is louder. There's more fans, and it's going to be taking place over the course of 2 nights. Yeah, Saturday and Sunday. I will drop the dates so that you don't obviously miss out and stuff like that. And this is the best period to jump into wrestling if you've not been watching for a while, like myself. I do apologize. I'm battling a cold and my voice sounds a bit hoarse. That's what it is. When it comes to obviously watching wrestling or WrestleMania, it's good to jump in now because you get to know what's going on. If you're watching WrestleMania, you think to yourself, like, oh, what's going on here? Why are they beefing? Or why are they getting into it? Or what's going on here? You know to yourself from the get-go. Yeah. So, like I said, this is the time to watch it now. And it's like watching an episode of EastEnders. Like, if you watch a couple of shows here or there, you know who's sleeping with who, you know who's beefing with who, you know who's slapping up whoever at the pub, all those kind of things there. All right. But anyway, before I jump into this video, which I'll be going through what I've watched recently, which was Raw. I watched a bit of SmackDown on Friday as well, but this Monday night I watched Raw, so I'm up to speed with that. And then I'll give you a breakdown of the matchups so far that have been set over the course of the 2 days of WrestleMania, and it's going to be at Las Vegas. And like I said, I'll go through the dates and when it's going to be happening, so you don't miss out on it. But before I jump into this video properly, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Smash that like button, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. Press the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my shows. And also, if you have been watching wrestling like throughout, you've not taken any breaks, let me know what's been going on. I've just been catching up, but there could be certain things that I've missed out on, or certain things I need to be paying more attention to. If you could put me on, that's fantastic. Anyway, without further ado, let me get into it, man. Most recently, I watched SmackDown, and I tell you what, it's getting a bit heated. It's getting a bit heated. The storylines are heating up. Some of them I don't really agree with. Some of them feel a bit way too thin or quite, it just feels like a bit like they're just making it up as they go. Maybe just to, I guess when it comes to WrestleMania, you got to put the best people together. You got to set up the best matchups. Sometimes if you're not really got the best matchups, you got to hurry up and do it because it's the big show, in it. You got to have the best people on the show. So Monday Night Raw, I see Cody Rhodes and Stephanie McMahon in the ring together. And I think to myself, well, what's going on? Why is Stephanie McMahon obviously making an appearance? And all of a sudden I'm thinking to myself, all right, cool. Let's hear out what's going on. So Cody Rhodes is beefing with Randy Orton. And for a long while, since maybe even if you go back to my previous shows that I did with Kojo, shout out Kojo as well. He will be on a show in the near future and stuff like that. We went through the whole Cody Rhodes arc, basically from completing his storyline, becoming champ because his dad wasn't champ, and it was his time. The American Nightmare and everything. Everybody was happy for him to become champ, and all of a sudden now that he's become champ, people are not really feeling him. So now he's beefing with Randy Orton, and I feel like he's close to coming to the point where he's going to be a heel, which is a bad guy. and they're kind of building it up. Now, in order to maybe build it up, he's going up against a sadistic wrestler, the guy that his voice is in his head, Randy Orton. And if you face up with Randy Orton, you really have to take it there. You really have to push a side of yourself that isn't just, smiling and waving and kissing babies and doing all that kind of stuff to be showing off that you're a good guy. But he's now kind of angling that arc of like he's going to a bit to his dark side. Now, I feel like the reason why Stephanie McMahon is come into this mix, which is a bit random, and this is what I was saying about, storylines just forming quite quickly just before WrestleMania. Stephanie McMahon's come to, in some way, G up Cody Rhodes, maybe tell him some home truths about his matchup against Randy Orton and how he has to really approach this. Now, she was like, well, if you have to approach this, you have to approach it like your dad did. Yeah. Your dad was a guy that, did things that he needed to do. To get the job done, he will take it there, basically. Especially against a person like Randy Orton. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, you're not your dad. So that pierced through his heart, because if when it comes to Cody Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes is his dad, legendary wrestler who passed away, so RIP. So it's always a touching thing when obviously they bring up his dad, and it's all about paying homage and stuff like that. So there are some real life emotions that kind of cross paths within the storylines and stuff like that. Cody Rhodes is like, well, boy, you're a bit brazen coming to talk here and stuff like that. You might be Stephanie McMahon, but you're also, you ain't like your dad. You know what I mean? So that was like a ooh moment, because we all know, if you don't know, Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon, sorry, who was a former owner of WWE, who's no longer the owner under like controversial kind of circumstances and stuff like that. So he is really a person that doesn't really get mentioned in WWE. Even the fact that when Stephanie McMahon was like, I'm here, I'm Stephanie McMahon in a place that my grandfather, I'm here in Madison Square Garden, the place that my grandfather built, which is true, you know what I mean? But more time is like, I would have expected her to reference her dad, Vince McMahon, but that's a name that doesn't get spoken of in WWE. But lately, they've been kind of throwing a few jabs here and there in terms of like maybe his input. I've been hearing rumors that he's had some input regarding the booking of WrestleMania, but that's for another time. Anyway, so Stephanie McMahon, Cody Rhodes said what he said. That then triggered Stephanie McMahon. And then there's a bit of a stare down. Slap. Cody Rhodes gets slapped. Stephanie McMahon walks off, drops the mic, and then Cody Rhodes grabs Stephanie McMahon, spins her around. A bit of a stare off. Now, the stare off was a bit like they were about to go at it. I'm thinking, right, like, hey, Cody, you can't hit Stephanie McMahon. Triple H will come out as well. But anyway, it's a bit of a stare off, and then Cody Rhodes turns around and says to her, like, I've got 2 words for you. And that's usually a DX line. I got 2 words for you. The whole crowd was like, suck it. But he turns around and goes, thank you. And the crowd was like, boo. This touches more onto the fact that because people are waiting for this evil arc, this heel turn, and the fact that he just turned around and said, thank you, this whole goody, nice guy image, people were just disappointed in that. Anyway, that ended. So there's more for us to see in regards to that storyline. We're probably about a week out until WrestleMania. So it'd be interesting to see how it develops in regards to Stephanie McMahon's involvement, which is a bit out of the blue, but it's added an element to maybe giving Cody Rhodes that bit of an edge to know, like, all right, cool. Maybe that thank you was like, all right, cool. I needed that. I needed that. You know what I mean? Maybe it's gonna allow me to really take it there when it comes to Randy Orton. So that was the Cody Rhodes segment. I'm not gonna touch on every bit of Raw because there were certain things I just, I was like, I'm not really bothered about that. But the main thing, who else? We had tag team champions, um, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. The Usos, they lost their belts to Austin Theory and Logan Paul. If you guys don't know Logan Paul, the YouTube sensation or influencer, everything that he does outside of wrestling. He's actually a wrestler now. I don't know if he's full time or whatnot, but he does appear on the episodes quite a lot now, and he is now tag team champions. The Usos lose their titles. The Usos storyline is kind of entwined with Roman Reigns as well, so I'll get into that a little bit later. But the fact that the Usos have lost their titles just before WrestleMania, I don't know if it sits well with me because normally, like, you want your top drawers to have the titles, unless it's going to be a case where they win it at WrestleMania, they win it back at WrestleMania, and it's got more of a bigger pop. It holds more legitimacy because when they won the titles, there wasn't really a hurrah to it. Even when the Usos got back to being a tag team again, there wasn't really a big fanfare about it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out and stuff like that. So they've lost their titles. Now, if I just go into the Roman Reigns situation because it's heavily linked, the Usos, Roman Reigns are beefing with CM Punk. CM Punk is the new WWE World Champion, and he's just been literally having beef with CM Punk. Well, they've been having beef with CM Punk. Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble. He chose CM Punk as to be a champ, going after the title that Roman Reigns, often enough before, was kind of, that title was a dead title. But now, all of a sudden, it's a title that he's going after. But I think it's more so for the fact that CM Punk is the champion now. So they've been going at it. So previous to this, if I just give you a little bit of a backstory between the CM Punk and Roman Reigns, and I'll bring in the Usos as well. CM Punk goes on a mic, says what he needs to say, cuts his promo. He's one of the best on the mic, and he referenced Roman Reigns' dad. Roman Reigns' dad has passed away. He's dead. I can't remember what exactly he said, but it was something that wasn't taken lightly by the Usos. It wasn't taken lightly by Roman Reigns. The Usos confronted CM Punk the following week, saying, "Look, man, you need to apologize." Jey Uso was, he's the one that's more hot-headed. So he's like, "Yo, we need an apology tonight." Jimmy Uso, who's more kind of buddy-buddy with CM Punk, was like, "Look, man, I'm not gonna lie. That's foul what you said. You know what I mean? That's Unc right there. You know what I mean? Like, that's family. And once you mention family, you talk about family, especially, family that's passed away. Yeah, you owe us an apology." So he came across more diplomatic, and the Usos are twins. One's a fiery hothead, the other one is kind of chilled. So in the midst of the weeks that's gone by, the twins have been looking for an apology. Anyway, Roman Reigns comes in one of the episodes, confronts CM Punk. They beef it out, they duke it out. No, actually, I think CM Punk, one of the weeks, punches Roman Reigns. The following week, Roman Reigns gets his lick back. And the twins are more forceful, more so Jey Uso, because Roman Reigns got his lick back, but it wasn't enough for Jey Uso. He's like, "Yo, you got to represent for the family." And all of a sudden, Roman Reigns switches and punches him up, takes him outside the ring, power bombs him into the announce table, and that kind of just sparks a life into the beef once again. Like, there was a time where CM Punk felt offended because Roman Reigns was calling him old. Like, you can't hang with me. I'm faster. I'm stronger. Rare tear tear. Now, going into this week, I'm speed passing the storyline a little bit, but going on to this week gone by, this Monday gone by, it's time for CM Punk to get his lick back. So now what you're going to notice when it comes to the road to WrestleMania, week by week, it's like a jostling of who's going to be on top. You know what I mean? In terms of like who's going to go in with the momentum that's needed to win come WrestleMania. So this Monday night was CM Punk's week, basically coming back, and then he stuck it on Roman Reigns. They punch up a little bit, takes him outside the ring. It looks like Roman Reigns is going to have his way again, trying to maybe powerbomb him into the announce table. Nope. CM Punk gets the upper hand, gives him the GTS to go to sleep, and then knocks him down, picks him up, power bombs him, gives him a taste of his own medicine, Roman Reigns' own medicine, power bombs him into the announce table. And that's pretty much how this week, in terms of their back and forth, has gone. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this, along with Jey Uso and the Uso twins, Jimmy and Jey Uso, them losing their titles, does that give them more room to kind of involve themselves more into Roman Reigns' storyline, the bloodline? We don't know about the bloodline storyline. That is the family coming together, banding together to obviously just run WWE. Is this like the new arc for them coming back together? There's also, the arc in regards to Jey Uso is more the hot-headed. He's was known as the right-hand man to Roman Reigns, and he's been barking orders. You know what I mean? Could he be the next tribal chief, the leader of the bloodline? Could he be trying to challenge Roman Reigns? What's going to happen there? There's so much to look at. Or is it a case where, like I said, do the Uso brothers, twins, win their title, Roman Reigns wins his title, and then, the bloodline starts all over again in terms of dominating with the titles and stuff like that. So there's so much to go on, and I think there's maybe one episode left until WrestleMania. So we just got to see in terms of what goes on there. So that was a good episode for me to watch and be like, you know what, I'm feeling it. It's bubbling up now. It's bubbling up. Who else? Some honorable mentions. We've got Oba Femi versus the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. He's a beast of a man, but he's meeting up with another beast, the Ruler. This is one of our a new wrestlers. If you don't know what he's about, he's come from NXT, which is like the developmental realm of WWE, like where all the newbies and the startup kind of wrestlers, kind of get started there, and then they work their way up to the mainstream. And he's been doing absolutely damage at him, man. He's been just busting people up. He's just as big as Brock Lesnar. He's just as powerful. He's been chiefing him. Oba Femi has been chiefing Brock Lesnar. Yes, I said he's been chiefing him like a ragdoll, throwing him up, power bombs, all kinds of things. And he's been getting to Brock Lesnar. But this Monday gone, Brock Lesnar came out in his shorts, like he was fighting in the MMA, had his gloves, and he was like, look, man, we've got to do it tonight. We've got to run it tonight. So, normally it will be Paul Heyman that will be talking. He's his mouthpiece on the mic and stuff like that. Brock Lesnar took the mic and goes, look, man, enough. Enough is enough. I need Oba Femi to come out here now. Oba Femi's music beats out in the arena. He comes down. He's got his little Oba. Oh, he got his little walk and stuff like that, man. Nah, he's doing well, man, in the mainstream right now. So he comes down and they're facing off in the ring, face to face. Everybody jumps in the rings like, yo, Triple H jumps in the rings like, you can't, no, back off. You can't do this right now. If you save it till WrestleMania, and they're always pointing to the side. Save it till WrestleMania. So Triple H tells Paul Heyman, you got to get your man out of the ring now. Get him out of the ring now. So anyway, Brock rolls out. They're still staring down each other. Brock Lesnar picks up the steel steps, acts like he's going to throw it. Dashes it. Fans, they're excited. They wanted to see something, a little, little dance in the ring, but they're saving it. They're saving it. Like I said, there's one more episode of Raw before WrestleMania. So I'm sure, because the last few weeks, Oba's been having his way with Brock Lesnar. And I thought this week maybe it would have been a case where Brock Lesnar would have, I don't know, maybe a sneak attack or whatever. But it was quite commendable to see, like, yo, the Beast, he ain't on that sneaky stuff. Head on, face to face, mano y mano. But I'm guessing in the next episode, we're going to see that maybe Brock Lesnar will get his lick back. If he doesn't, the likelihood would be like, because Oba Femi's been having his way throughout, the road to WrestleMania, come WrestleMania itself, to win, that means he's totally dominated him. So I'm a little bit worried because I do want to see Oba Femi win, but we just got to wait to see what the outcome is going to be. Who else? Lastly, this was a bit of a surprise, to be fair, when I saw Gunther attacking Seth Rollins. Now, I don't know if this means that and the reason why I'm saying this was a surprise, because Seth Rollins was, he's going at it with his ex-group, his former group, which is Division. Paul Heyman, who's pretty much the leader of Division right now. Seth Rollins has been beefing with them. He's coming back because they've pretty much screwed him. So he's been trying to get his revenge. Anyway, they've stated that Seth Rollins, who was previously injured, that he's now clear to fight. He's going to be at WrestleMania. He's ready to fight. So yeah, it's all good. Anyway, Seth Rollins sneaks into the ring. Paul Heyman's looking down at the ramp, and then behind him gets a chair shot. Bah! And then the Seth Rollins was about to set him up to give him a curb stomp on the chair. And then all of a sudden, behind him, Gunther grabs Seth Rollins, chokes him out. Now, like I said, I'm getting back into wrestling, so I don't know if there's been any previous chats with Gunther or anything like that. So for me, it was a total surprise. Does this now mean that Gunther is involved with Division? Has Paul Heyman pulled a masterclass? Because if he has recruited Gunther, I think this is the perfect person to have in Division. This will further boost Gunther as a world title contender. He's a contender already, but in terms of like getting that title sooner rather than later, he needs a faction behind him. He needs a group. I feel like Division, since Seth Rollins has gone, it's needed that leader. And if you put Gunther in the Vision, yeah, I see the vision. I see the vision. I see the vision. But yeah, man, so I can't really give you more than that because I'm just getting up to speed with what's going on in regards to that. So, like I said, there's one more episode in regards to Raw before WrestleMania. So that is literally going to be something I'm looking forward to, just to seeing what's the breakdown. But once again, this is why I mentioned that some of the storylines, it feels a bit microwavy in terms of how quick, espresso type storylines. But sometimes you need that just to be able to jump into WrestleMania and give the best show possible. So that was Raw. That was a breakdown of Raw. Smackdown, I've been keeping up to it here and there. The good thing about it is, like, if you don't watch it in its entirety, like the wrestling, there's still like the Instagrams that you can jump on the platforms there. YouTube have got like bite size and chopped up versions of the episodes. You can watch like 10-minute segments, 3 minutes, 5-minute segments. So I've been doing that. So my honorable mention in regards to SmackDown is Trick Williams, Mr. Whoop That Trick. He is my new superstar. He's an honorable mention. He gives you a throwback of like The Rock in terms of stylistically, the style, the pizzazz. He's flashy. He's got the white fur mink coat. He's got a really good entrance. If you've not watched it, go and check it out, man. Trick Williams' entrance. He's got the whole crowd singing, whoop that trick, whoop that trick, whoop. Hey, and the music just blares out, blares out. And I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's going to be going up against Sami Zayn, who is the new United States champion. So once again, this is a bit of a fast track as well, but I feel like Trick Williams is already deserving of having a title around his waist, and this is probably going to give him more legitimacy because Carmelo Hayes, who was the United States champion, he he deserves it because he's come up NXT as well. He's worked his way up, but he doesn't have that pizzazz. He doesn't have the it right now. And for him to go and take the title to WrestleMania, and if it was for him, like Melo and Trick Williams to fight, they could have made it a triple threat, to be fair, which they could still do because Trick Williams actually cost Melo the title by being ringside. He threw in the belt in the ring. I don't know if it was intended for Melo. I don't know if it was intended for Sami Zayn. But anyway, Sami Zayn ended up picking it up, or there was something that happened, and Sami Zayn ended up winning the title, which he's been trying to win for the longest time. He's been trying to win a title for the longest time to give him a bit of validation of like him being a superstar. And it was quite ironic that he'd been trying to do things like the legit way and all that kind of stuff, and he ended up winning it in a controversial way. Anyway, in WrestleMania, the matchup is going to be Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams for the United States champion. And I reckon Trick Williams is going to win that title. I feel like that's what the storyline is going to be. I hope that's the storyline. That's why I had my fingers crossed. I hope that's the arc. I hope that he gets the title just to boost him, because I feel like once he gets one of those mid-card titles, which is like the United States title or the Intercontinental title, those titles there gives you that platform to build on to becoming world heavyweight champion. And I feel like in due time, the likes of Trick Williams, Mr. Whoop That, the Mr. Lemon Pepper Steppers is going to be world champion. But anyway, before I wrap this up, let me just jump into giving you a breakdown of what the matchups are so far at WrestleMania before my throat just kaput. So let's just see. All right, so breakdown. I did have it up here. So WrestleMania, remember I said I'll let you know about the dates. It's going to be April the 18th and April the 19th. So it's 2 nights. It's a 2-night event, Saturday and Sunday. So for those that are going, man, hey, man, you lot are lucky. Have a good time out there. So the current WrestleMania 42 match card is, if I look here, there's no particular order, but they've got the main event, which is like the top matchups, and these are usually the heavyweight titles, which is going to be the World Heavyweight Championship. So there's 2 titles. You've got one that belongs to Raw, and you've got one that belongs to SmackDown. So the Raw title, which is the World Heavyweight Championship, which is going to be CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Then you've got the Undisputed title, which is Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. So that's the Undisputed WWE Championship. Then you got the women's title, which you got Jade Cargill. This is going to be a really big matchup between Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley, and that's for the WWE Women's Championship. Then you got the Women's World Championship, which is, once again, this is the Raw title. You got Stephanie Baker and Liv Morgan. So those are the two matchups there. I haven't really been invested in the Women's World Championship, the Stephanie and Liv Morgan one. But Jade Cargill, Rhea Ripley for the Women's WWE Championship, which is the SmackDown brand. That's a match to look forward to. Both of them are big girls, big women. They're muscly, they're strong. So it's like more of a powerhouse type of matchup, which is what I'll be looking forward to watching. So check that out. Then recently announced, which has been added recently, which will be Seth Rollins versus Gunther. So that's I'm just like looking at that now and thinking, okay, it makes sense because of what I was just talking about. You got Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Finn Balor got kicked out of the Judgment Day, which is the group that Dominic Mysterio, which is Rey Mysterio's son, if you didn't know by the name. So Finn Balor got kicked out of that group that he pretty much was a main staple in that group, but he's been kicked out. So now they're beefing together. You've got the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. I believe it's been announced and who's going to be in that matchup, but I haven't got it here right now. I will update you at a later time. Then you've got the Women's Tag Team Championship, which is a fatal four-way. You've got Alexa Bliss. These are the teams, basically. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus Bayley and Elira of Valkyria. Yeah, Valkyria. And then that's versus also the Bella Twins and versus the Irresistible Forces. So those are the matchups in regards to the Women's Tag Team Championship. Then you've got one of the best feuds that's going to be happening on the night. One of the nights is going to be Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi. That's going to be a real epic battle. And then you got Drew McIntyre. Oh, how did I forget about Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf? Man, it's basically a no-holds-bar match. Yeah, anything goes. These guys have been battling week on, week out, throwing each other off buildings, throwing each other through cars, all sorts of things, bleeding. So they just said, look, man, this is going to be a no-sanction match. Whatever goes. It's up to you guys and how you lot fight. Yeah, it is what it is, but there will be a winner. So looking forward to that one. And then most recent, I know there's other ones that have been announced, but most recent in terms of announcements is John Cena is going to be the host of Wrestlemania. Recently retired John Cena, going through his whole, retirement tour, everything like that. And he couldn't stay away from wrestling that long, but he is going to be at WrestleMania hosting. Previous hosts have been like The Rock, he's done some hosting there as well. So I feel like John Cena is going to be literally going through the same in terms of just adding that extra bit of spice to the two nights. But yeah, man, that's it for now. I know there's probably a little bit more that I've missed out on, but look, I got time to obviously in the next episode to give you more of what's going on. Like I said, I'm going to be dropping some Smackdown, storylines. And then obviously that will be Friday's episode. And then we've got Monday, Raw again. So literally after Monday Night Raw, I'll drop an episode, get you up to date if you need my assistance in regards to knowing what's going on. And then pretty much that weekend following will be WrestleMania. Man, like I said, man, I apologize about my voice. My voice is running out right now, but I managed to get to the end of it. Let me know how you're feeling about everything. Like I said earlier on as well, if you've been watching for many weeks previous to this, man, drop your comments, man. Let me know, man. Get me up to date if there's a particular storyline or something I've missed out on or I've not, just let me know what's been going on lately, man. Because sometimes when I'm watching, I'm thinking to myself, what's this happening? Why is this happening? It would be decent, to get your assistance on that and your help. But yeah, man, like I said, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button, comment, share, do all of that jazz to help the show. And most importantly, press the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my shows. And until the next time here on Do You Still Watch Wrestling? Hey, I'm jumping back on it again, man. Next time, bless, peace.